Lovely morning to you, wherever you might be watching Ogtv. And of course, it's the midweek edition of the program Nailed On. You can see me very clearly, and you can see my ebony queen too.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very clearly. Natural hair, beautiful face, Gaddafi body.
Oh, wow. A beautiful morning to you out there, and thank you for joining us on the program.
Allow me to introduce you now. You don't introduce you. You are a queen.
Please have the
floor. Let me introduce you. Big, bold, and beautiful. Okoyemi Adeomi.
That's me.
Is partnering Hakim Akitunde on the program this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
We're good.
Monday, Tuesday, how's it been?
Well, normal thing. I think the main thing now in Nigeria is the tax reform controversy, so to say. A whole lot of moving forward and backwards. Past the second reading of the Senate, waiting for public hearing. Couldn't pass the second reading at the House of Rep. There was a kind of disruption yesterday.
Yes.
Some people wanted,
we'll be talking about
some people wanted it to be dropped. Some people say, no, let's go through the second reading and go to public hearing, then we'll decide from there. Looking at the brouhaha, I've been trying to read the bill as well.
Okay.
But I've not been able to finish. But I've looked at some key areas. Well, I don't want to pass judgment because I also saw a town hall meeting where some notable Nigerians spoke from the north, from the south, and everywhere. And I know this thing of is more political than what we stand to gain, because not all the issues are being talked about, but even those who are against it. Some said there's nothing wrong with the tax reform, but wider consultation.
Okay. Good
about that. The chairman of the presidential economic team, who heads the tax team, did a beautiful presentation by our standard. That is oral. It's okay. And I think, I don't know, I just think whether you like it or not, the reaction of some people is the fact that some of our leaders don't want to be creative, some of our leaders don't want to be innovative. They just want to stick to the status quo, of going to Abuja every month to collect allocation. And of course, I don't know, but I don't want to pass judgment anyway. But
we
definitely, at a point in time, we should get over it. If you ask me, just like even people from the north, some people from the north have said, but you know,
we have people from the north who actually disagree. We have the likes of Patami, who disagrees that
and we have those who also agree that you should not just take
Gumi agrees
the issue of VAT alone. Look at the tax bill holistically and see whether it will benefit you. Because even the issue of VAT, the only state it is benefiting more is states like Lagos and Rivers.
Okay, because
now if you look at what the tax bill is saying, for example, the one I can easily remember here is that for example, take a company whose headquarters is in Lagos, but who has a whole lot of subscribers to that, consumers or subscribers to the company in Kano, for example, or in Ogun State. They are likely to earn more VAT because of where those who enjoy the products of those companies are domiciling. So which is making Lagos will now go lower, while if you have consumers of Dangote, for example, Dangote Indomie, more in Kano, and the headquarters is in Lagos. Unlike before, the whole VAT is paid to Lagos. But now, a percentage will only be paid to Lagos, while another huge percentage will go to Kano. Just like that. Anyway, that is not for us to discuss. We'll continue to see, and of course, we wish Nigeria well. It is normal. It's a part of politics. It's the beauty of democracy, just like some people will say.
Yes, it is the beauty of democracy. I agree with you on that.
We'll take a break, and let's see what the weather forecast looks like. Then we'll come back and continue the program. Don't forget, it's going to be weather forecast in the news, newspaper, pep talk, newspaper review. Our guest will be here for the soft interview. And of course, that will take us to trending, after which we join the main interview of the day for the main issue of the moment. Midweek edition of New Dawn, spearheading it with Morning Flakes with Okoyemi Adeomi and Akim Akitunde. Trust us. We'll be back. Okay, welcome back. Very quickly to what you know in the news, so to say. We start from this one. The Senate on Tuesday, December 2024, passed the 2025-2027 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper. The Senate also approved the expenditure framework with a total spending of 47.9 trillion for 2014 and a new 2024. And a new borrowing plan of 9.22 trillion, which constitutes both domestic and foreign borrowings. The resolutions of the Senate followed its consideration of the 2025 to 2027 MTF-FSP report presented by the chairman of the Senate Committee on Finance, Senator Sani Musa, during plenary. All right, the lawmakers approved the framework with the exchange rate of 1,400 to $1 and adopted the oil price benchmark of $75 and 76.2 US dollars and 75.3 per barrel for years 2025, 2026, and 2027 respectively. So moving on, the approved framework also contains a daily production output of 2.06 million, 2.10 million, and 2.35 million barrels for the 3 years. Well, what do we say? The wise men have spoken and they have taken the decision based on what they have with them. We move.
Of course we move. And from that story, we now move to the presidency, where President Bola Tinubu has stated that Nigeria and South Africa share a collective destiny to collaborate for the betterment of the African continent. It stressed that both countries must intensify cooperation across various sectors, adding that the success of the partnership lies in the implementation, not merely the signing of memoranda of understanding. President Tinubu made this remark during the opening address as he co-chaired the 11th session of the Nigerian-South Africa Binational Commission alongside President Cyril Ramaphosa in Cape Town, South Africa. He said successive governments on both sides have recognized the shared history of collaboration and cooperation, noting that they must ensure that the spirit of collaboration and cooperation between the two leading countries in Africa intensifies and deepens under the leadership of both respective nations. And that's President Tinubu reiterates strategic collaboration.
And that is yielding the results already. Looking at by the story I'm going to take next. Listen,
okay.
Let's check it out. President of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, has announced a new visa policy for Nigerians, saying investors and tourists could apply for a visa without submitting passports.
Wow. The
South African president revealed this on Tuesday at the opening of the 11th session of the Nigerian-South African Binational Commission in Cape Town, which President Bola Tinubu attended. According to him, South Africa has simplified its visa processes to facilitate travel for Nigerian business people and tourists with measures such as 5-year multiple entry visa. Good one.
Yeah, I think Nigeria is trying to close in on the bilateral trades and, bilateral relationship with other countries. So it's a very good one.
So, not a very fruitful visit for President Bola Tinubu.
Yes.
Yeah.
So moving on, the House of Representatives has directed the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, to suspend the retirement of 1,000 staff and the associate payoff scheme until an investigation is completed. The House decided to investigate the mass retirement of over 1,000 CBN employees to evaluate the criteria process and legality of the action. Additionally, it seeks to examine the 50 billion naira payoff scheme to ensure transparency, accountability, appropriate use of funds. Another committee will be established to engage with CBN leadership to assess the potential economic and institutional effect of retirement on Nigerian financial sector. Proposed mass retirement. That's a lot. 1,000 people retiring.
I don't know. All right, quickly, because of our time, the House of Representatives has called on the federal government to probe the incessant boat accidents across the country, leading to loss of lives and property. This was a sequel to the adoption of a motion of urgent public importance on Tuesday titled "Need to Investigate the Incessant Boat Mishaps in Nigeria's Waterways," sponsored by the member representing Okana Fun Orok Anam Federal Constituency, Akwa Ibom State, Mr. Uyime Idem. He said Nigeria has witnessed a disturbing surge in boat mishaps in recent times, resulting in the tragic loss of numerous lives. I agree.
Yes.
I agree. Yes,
so if water transportation would be a means, then safety measures should be put in place.
Definitely, definitely.
So the last story here says the Minister of Livestock Development, Idi Meha, has called for stronger collaboration between research institutions and livestock industry to enhance productivity and address the sector challenges. Meha stated that the mandate is to revamp the sector and leverage on modern techniques to ensure food security and eradicate poverty, adding that President Tinubu has opened Nigeria to investments, especially the prospect of collaboration with Brazil, which the federal government is determined to secure. Speaking during a briefing with the management team of the Nigerian Institute of Animal Science, Meha emphasized the need for research outcomes to directly benefit practitioners in the field. The minister highlighted the importance of aligning scientific advancements with industry needs to foster growth and innovation in the livestock sector.
Livestock. A whole lot of issues surrounding livestock nowadays.
I think generally it's just
I think we don't have a ministry.
Yes, yes.
So to say, which is also something very good this government has brought on. Anyway, We'll take another quick break and, of course, get to join Engineer Abeokuta on our pep talk, and he will be talking this morning on patience. When we come back, we'll rush through headlines of the papers, then our guest will be in-house.
Can be 1 minute, it could be 1 day, it could be 1 year, it could be 1 decade. Patience. So that time lag, you have to feel it with some activities, some attitudes, because you have to do something about it. If you are a patient person, you will not be anxious. You will not be mad at yourself. You will not be mad at the society. You will patiently endure sufferings that will allow you to get what you're looking for. When I was leaving the university, a colleague of mine walked to my room. I had had significant impact on his life, and his life had become transformed through my patient action on him. So he felt it was time to it was time to pay me back. So he came to my room and he said, "Abeokuta, do you know you're going to run around the world and you're going to save the world? You're going to be there. Nations of the world will welcome you." And I laughed. At that time, I had not been to Ikeja Airport. And I was a local Ibadan boy doing well in the University of Ife, now Obafemi University. But that was the only thing that was going on well for me. My parents were poor, and I laughed. Me travel around the world when I've not even been in the inside of an aeroplane. I've not even been within the 100 meters of an aeroplane before. But you know what? I believed it. And I patiently endured. It took me 10 years before I went on my first trip outside the country. But I always believed that was going to happen. Many nations of the world thereafter, I look back at what will appear to be the prophecy coming from this friend of mine, which would be an aspiration, which I bought into. But the actualization of that aspiration took several years to mature. There will always be a difference between the time you aspire and the time you experience what you want to aspire to be, what you aspire to be. And your ability to feel it in your belief system, the right belief systems, the right attitudes, and to work concertedly until you see the fulfillment of those aspirations will matter a lot. That's when patience comes in. Be patient, will you? Thank you for listening.
Thank you for patiently following us since we started around 8 a.m. or thereabouts. We are now going to the newspaper segment where we hit you with some headlines that are very interesting, and you can get copies of these newspapers later and read more. We have 4 newspapers to take some top stories from: the Nigerian Tribune, the Vanguard, the Punch newspaper, and of course the Nation. Starting with the Nigerian Tribune very quickly. Tax reforms bills. What else? Tinubu directs Justice Ministry, National Assembly to work on concerns with a whole lot of riders there. Get a paper for more on this. Sanwo-Olu signs Lagos electricity bill into law. It's another interesting headline you can check out. Port Harcourt refinery is working. Thank God this is coming from Pengassan, and so be rest assured, if Pengassan says a refinery is working,
then it is
definitely
working.
it is working. Tinubu on mission to transform Abuja's satellite towns to cities. That's according to the minister of the FCT, Wiki. Check it out. Reps to probe incessant boat mishaps on Nigerian waterways. Edo election tribunal begins pre-hearing Monday. $2.2 billion Eurobond insurance will boost FX inflows. Firm up Naira. That's according to experts. And from South Africa, they have relaxed visa rules for Nigerians. Grab a copy of the paper for more. Nigerian Tribune, this lovely Wednesday morning.
And that takes us to the Punch newspaper, where we have the big headline here says, tax reform, Tinubu others review as protest persists in NAS. Rowdy session in-house pro-Tinubu Northern Youth protest at National Assembly Arewa Group reject bills. NLC slams Nwafuru as Akwa Ibom joint strike. Kaduna withdraws. Also on the Punch newspaper today, we have air passenger lost 19,274 luggage in 6 months, and that is coming from the federal government. We have Emefiele cronies acquires 753 duplex estate with forex kicks back, and that is coming from the EFCC. Details of our stories on page 12 of the Punch newspaper. 80 billion naira fraud. Called others former APCON MD arrest. You can also read of that story in the Punch newspaper. Owabokum at birthday ceremony. Adeboye tips brother-in-law as next monarch. Ekiti CP defends Farotimi's arrest in Lagos. Alleges cyberbully and defamation. Reps order suspension of CBN mass retirement. 50 billion naira payoff. You can pick all the story on the Punch newspaper coming out today.
Oh wow, Boku. Oh, wow. All right, straight to the Vanguard. Tax reform bills, Kuka, CITN, NECA, Pengassan suggest way forward. Interesting riders here. Move should end early's financial recklessness. That's according to Kuka. It's a necessary step, needs more data integration, CITN. Reforms will have far-reaching positive consequences, NECA. Some provisions may affect oil and gas industry, Pengassan. Production is tool for economic growth, not task. That's according to Senate committee. Governor's softened stance. Reps in the rowdy session over comments on reform. Don't inject ethnic regional slurs in national conversation. FG1s. Grab a copy of the paper. And of course, the picture you are seeing here is President Bola Tinubu and South Africa President Cyril Ramaphosa in Cape Town for the 11th session of Nigeria-South Africa Binational Commission in South Africa yesterday. For more interesting headlines, Obi Falana condemned arrest of activist Farotimi. Check it out. BCN, South Africa's relaxes visa, ESN, that's another one. Cooking gas, average price of 12.5 kg rises by 56%. That's according to investigation. How Nigeria can turn natural resources from curse to blessing. Khan, Sultan, SGF talking here. Simanepa must answer for his atrocities, but release Nnamdi Kanu, Southeast residents. Don't expect drop in petrol price. Pengassan is talking. I'm talking sports. Okay. 27 years after, before we come to sports, Adeleke presents staff of office to Oba Alabi. Sanwo-Olu signs Lagos electricity bill. I'm talking sports. Osime turns down Man United January move. Grab a copy of the Vanguard today for more.
Osime turns down Man U. I thought Man U and Chelsea had been like the major.
I don't know. Well, he's entitled to, you know, his decision is a whole lot of things when it comes to this moving to one club to another. You never know where it will end. Maybe by January we'll still be playing with at Galatasaray. And maybe during the summer move, he'll make his final move.
Okay, we now move to the Nation newspaper, where the big headline here says, Senate passes 2025 to 2027 MTEF FSP, Bagudu urged council to deepen IGR. Nobody has claimed ownership of 753 duplexes, what EFCC filed in court. Discos get January 1 deadline to end meter upgrade. Airline crashes 1 hour flight fare to 80,000 naira. Ah, that's some good news. Sanwo-Olu signs electricity bill, pledges transformation, and Lieutenant General Oluyide gets nod as substantive Chief of Army Staff. Man, Kuka, OK tax reform. Senate widens consultation. Tinubu Ramaphosa to deepen Nigerian-South African partnership. AGF, MDAs to work with lawmakers. Storming session in House of Reps. Fire cause havoc in Kwara, Yobe, Taraba, Delta. INEC office raised. Other stories are on the front page of the Nation newspaper that came out today. You can grab your copy to read more of the stories.
Well, that's how far we can go as far as newspaper review is concerned on this midweek edition of New Dawn. Spearheaded as usual by Morning Flakes, and of course presented this lovely Wednesday morning by Okoyemi, Adewumi, and Akim Akishune. We'll take a break. When we'll come back, our guests should be here, and we'll be talking something interesting, so to say. Don't go nowhere. We'll be back.